So I had to go to a basketball game last night, and I don't do sports. I'm your stereotypical fucking nerd who hates sports, and I don't go to sports, I don't play sports, I don't watch sports. Honestly, I think this shit is boring. And like watching a basketball game, wow, this is kind of I'm liking the first like 5 minutes of this, and then it's just gonna be this again and again and again, just back and forth and back and forth, and like I, I don't care about sports, but I had to cover it because like the normal reporter for the paper I work for was busy covering another thing that night, and ooh, can you cover this? Well, I don't know how to report sports. That's fine. We just need photos. Well, I don't know how to photograph sports, but please. Okay, fine. I'll do it. Whatever. It's not like I had things going on. I'll just cover the sports, and I take the photos of the sports and the basketball. And are they good photos? Not really, but they're photos that we own. And that is how I spent last night. It was fine. I just put my headphones in, listened to a podcast as I just took photos of people shooting baskets and missing and getting ball back and forth. And like scoring is not like interesting in basketball when they score like 40 times in a single game. It's like, wow, it's they scored. I guess it's that minute. I just don't like sports. That's the thing. And I what I did because like I listen to a couple podcasts like weekly, and sometimes I like run out of podcast episodes because oh no, I burned through all the new ones this week. Now I need to go find something else to listen to. So I like re-listen to old Behind the Bastards episodes, the ones on L. Ron Hubbard, which that was a fun series of episodes. I only got halfway through. I need to finish it. Well, I mean I've heard it before, but it's fun. And like when Beyond the Bastards first did L. Ron Hubbard, Robert just casually mentioned in it, uh, just like one sentence, and then moves on. Also he had an orgy in the desert to try and create the Antichrist, and then no fucking context, and later that got a whole episode that was one of the absolute best episodes of the show, just because of how sheer fucking absurd the time L. Ron Hubbard went out in the desert and had an orgy with a NASA rocket guy to try and summon the Antichrist. Like, what the fuck was that man on about? That's weird than Santa. Although, actually, you know what the thing about Scientology is, and like, honestly, this is a disservice that South Park clicks because South Park is like how most people know about Scientology, and most people know what people mock it by. Scientology is not bad because they have weird, wacky beliefs. They have fucking weird, dumb, wacky beliefs, but they're not the only religious group that has weird beliefs. Scientology is bad because it's a cult. Like, the problems with cult is that they're fundamentally controlling and abusive of their members. And, like, that's not a thing that is unique to Scientology. There are not all Christianity, but there are parts of Christianity, certain denominations or fringe like solo churches are just as controlling and abusive as Scientology. And like you don't even there are non-religious cults, I think is a thing that I've read a lot about that is becoming more and more clear in recent years. Like QAnon acts like a cult. Flat earthers act like a cult, and these aren't religious, although they often the members of them are religious. It's about controlling information and being abusive to the members of your group. Is the thing about cults, but also, yeah, L. Ron Hubbard was fucking on. It was fucking weird, and I couldn't do that. I couldn't fucking write so much so quickly and then turn the shitty shit I wrote into a cult. Who could? Andrew Hussey. Andrew Hussey could have. Like, I made a joke. Homestuck's always on my mind because I'm working on the fucking 8-hour Homestuck video. I made a joke in one of them, like, where I was talking about Harry Potter in my Homestuck videos, and I says, people say give the Homestuck fandom a love. Shit, but the Homestuck fandom's never created multiple cults, although I could see them doing that. And Harry Potter had multiple cults. I could see Andrew Hussey could have made a cult. That'd been bad. Whatever, I'm not the point is Behind the Bastards is a good show that I am a fan of, is the point of all of this. And you're annoying me, so I'm going to switch out so I can just one shot you, because that'll end up being quicker. Plan for today: do the last 2 or 3 floors of Celestic Tower, go back, and at least the gym trainers before Skyla, depending on how long things take. Maybe Skyla herself. Speaking of like my job, I won an award. I am an award-winning journalist. I can honestly call myself an award-winning journalist because I'm a journalist who has won awards. A single award. Uh, the award for best continuing coverage from the Iowa Newspaper Association, asterisk class 2, which means against other mid-sized weekly papers. Like, I can't fucking compete with the Des Moines Register, but I can compete with papers that get 1,300 readers a week. Like, I am small town reporter on top of my game with my good continuing coverage. And actually, like, I looked at the class sizes. There was the class below me for the really, really tiny, like 500 reader total papers. And I'm glad I didn't have to compete against that, because the first place and second place in Iowa for like the tiny, tiny papers were the Perry paper and the Greenfield paper. And if you're not from Iowa, you probably don't know that. But Perry had a school shooting, and Greenfield was completely destroyed by a tornado that killed multiple people. And like, yeah, I couldn't have written better coverage against those fucking papers, because like a lot of it, admittedly, like getting a good newspaper story, a lot of it does come down to journalistic skill and how good you are as a writer. And I think I'm decent at writing, decent at interviewing, but I'm not especially good. I think the thing that it comes down to is, do you have a good story to coverage? A good story to coverage. Like, they don't give out Pulitzers. I'd never win a fucking Pulitzer, but they don't give out Pulitzers for just really good writing of a story that isn't big. No, they give Pulitzers for these big, nation-shocking stories that uncover huge scandals. They give out Pulitzers for, like, the Catholic Church shit and the Watergate. And the problem is, no matter how good you are as a journalist, you are bound by what stories you can even write about. You can, man, that was a really talented and skillful writing about the local city council's new dog poop ordinances. You're not getting a fucking award from that, no matter how good you do at your job. And I am adequate at my job. Like, the only reason I want this continuing coverage is because I got a big story and I covered it extensively. And I mean, I did. Like, newspaper associations, they like when you put the work in, like, where it's like, there's these problems at this school. No one's gonna maybe there's a 5% chance that anyone will talk to me. Well, 5% if I email literally every single, because the story was at like one of the local schools in my area is there's this whole scandal. It starts in the fall of 2023. School board president's son calls another student, a black girl, the N-word, and gets suspended, which means he can't do sports, and his family is not happy about it. They have private off the closed session, like, so I don't know what was said in it, meeting with the superintendent. The suspension is overturned, and then not long after that, without any warning, the superintendent resigns. And like, teachers in the area told me, yeah, I think it's over this conflict with the school board and the superintendent not feeling like he had any authority due to that. And like, so I cover what happens. I cover the press releases. I try and interview school board. They won't talk to me. I email every single teacher at that school about what's going on there. And a few of them have direct information, but a few more of them have, I don't know about this specifically, but man, this school sucks. Like, they treat us like crap. There's just this toxic culture, which ends up becoming what the story is about, because I don't know the specifics of like the suspension and the superintendent, but I do know that I had 30 different teachers saying this place is really toxic and we are micromanaged, and like there's this hierarchy because it's like a fucking small close-knit town between people who grew up here and people who didn't, and just this school area does. And I did a bunch of interviews and I covered it over like month. I'm still covering the fallout to this day. They got a new superintendent like a week ago to replace the interim guy that was put in, and like I just tried to cover as much of it as possible, and I did interview both the parent of the black student who got called E and also the parent of the suspended student, and they had contradictory things. I'm not gonna fucking say who was right. They're probably both a little bit dishonest and both a little honest. But anyway, the point is, that's what I did, and that's what I got an award for. But I hope there's a big story, a big thing I can cover in depth this year. Because, or actually, I shouldn't hope for an interesting story of something going wrong, because, like, that affects people. Like, the best writing I've done has been about this big city scandal where they fired the fire chief over petty reasons and then lied about saying he resigned. And he's like, no, I did not fucking give a letter of resignation. You're lying in a meeting when you say that I resigned. That was one of them. And one of the other big stories I've written in my career was a tornado destroyed a bunch of farmhouses. Like, just this terrible devastation of the community. And that's, like, I'm a pretty good writer when there's something good to write about. But also, I don't want to do, like, these big stories about people's lives being ruined every single day. That would kill me, I think. I don't know. There is stuff going on in Iowa. It could be... What's that county? I saw it in the fucking news about, like, a sheriff who sends out a press release saying, I will comply with ICE, assuming that they have warrants and are obeying due process with... and basic constitutional freedoms, and then everyone's like, oh, he is allowing criminals to do crimes. Fire that man. And like now the governor is threatening to cut all state funding to that county because the sheriff said he would follow the Fourth Amendment and only comply with things that were constitutional. And I was fucked. Our country in general is just, oh god. Like talking about like journalism and politics, and I'll try not to get angry like I did. So like in Iowa, we had the Des Moines Registers, or paper of note, and they do like their election predictions, like where they have a political scientist give their predictions, which is a thing every fucking paper does. Like election predictions are nothing. It's just so common. And Iowa, this Ann Seltzer's her name, the pollster for the Des Moines Register, stated, based on the polls that I've done, I am betting that Donald Trump is going to lose in Iowa. Also, Marianne Miller Meeks, who is the representative for Southeast Iowa, which is where I live, is going to lose. And then they both won. So now Donald Trump and Marianne Miller Meeks are suing the Des Moines Register because their pollster said, I believe that Donald Trump is going to lose Iowa, and that's illegal now. And I mean, Donald Trump also sued ABC because George Stephanopoulos called him a rapist, when actually legally under New York law, it is rape when you forcibly have sex with someone unless you penetrate with your penis. He only raped this woman with her fingers, which in other parts of the U.S. is legally rape. And like in casual conversation, you would call that rape. But technically, the president is not a rapist. He only forcibly had sex with this woman. And sue ABC for defamation. They pay out $15 million to settle it. Now he's fucking suing CBS because they edited an interview for Time, which is a thing fucking every fucking news station on the fucking planet does. But the point is, the point of all this is to create a culture of fear. Like, none of this has any merit legally, but it's to create a full culture of fear where people will not report on anything the president likes, because, well, if you report on the president being a rapist, which he is, then you're going to have to pay $50 million. So, like, I don't think fucking ABC is going to report on Donald Trump's rapes again, because he's been silenced. And it's just this massive, massive fucking attack on the First Amendment. It's disgusting. Actually, Shower Craw isn't that useful, because Crunch covers most of what it covers. And as a journalist, that fucking messes me up. That I'm scared of this shit. This is bad. I don't like people going after journalists, and maybe I'm biased because I am that, but Yeah. Don't fucking attack me on the roof. This is very dangerous. And no more politics. No more politics. Oh god, Elon Musk is destroying it. This is where our country is being destroyed by these fucking like when you say a president is doing something unconstitutional, normally you think about, oh, violating the First Amendment or the Fourth Amendment or the Fifth. Like, no, it's like what our current president is doing is just like basic articles of the Constitution about presidential duties. And that's. I guess I never thought that would be a thing. The Constitution says the president doesn't have the authority to create or destroy federal agencies. That's up to the legislative branch. But what if I said it? But what if he wants to? Well, the legislative branch wants him to be able to. So I guess, yeah, the small government of the wonderful, wonderful small government of putting the power solely in a single individual who has no checks and balances. And like, there's this mistaken idea among conservatives that removing regulations takes power away from the government and thus gives it to you, the people. No, it doesn't. It takes power away from the government and gives it to corporations, which are not your friend. They want to fucking murder your family. Like, like in Iowa, they're fucking Iowa Republicans who have a supermajority are trying to make it illegal for you to sue pesticide companies, and I see that's putting power in the people. No, it isn't. It's putting power in the fucking companies that hate you and want to murder your family. Oh god, we're fucked. We're fucked. No more politics. No more politics. I'm just preaching to a fucking choir, and I went way too long with the politics rant and said some things I shouldn't have last time. Oh, still adding the 8-hour Homestuck video. It's just fucking going. I'm in the middle of editing Act 8. I'm spending a lot of time on it. I haven't fallen behind. I'm so far so good. But yeah, it's just taken forever. I'm currently halfway through with Act 8, which according to my schedule, I'm supposed to start editing today. If I can make up some time and gain a week, just to get some of these parts done in 6 days instead of 7, would be nice. Because I started work on Act 8 a few days ago. I only have, if I want to keep the 7 days, I have to get it done by end of Monday, and then the longest week in total word count is the last week actually, because but the emotional climax is gonna be fucking trivial to edit. It'll be 30 minutes that I can get done in an hour. But besides that, it's alt stuck, which I'm doing next week, and hopefully that goes well. Let's see what else has been going on. It's super fucking icy right now. Stupid fucking frozen rain. It's all mellow by now. But it was bad because I walked to work and it was a trial because everything is frozen. Much like parents of children, and much like the homes of parents, I just fucked that joke up so much that it was much like the bedrooms of little girls who like Disney animation in the 2010s. Everything is frozen. There, that would have been clever if I said it in one. And now I'm going to heal up, and then I'm going to... Actually, you know what? This has been a good part. I'll do the gym next time. Yeah, I don't have much more to talk about. Starting work on Cold West 2. Got recorded this week, and that means I have to edit it. I mean, it's a minute a day. That's fine. That's nothing. And this is a dialogue-heavy episode. I'll be fine. Time to go back to editing Act 8.